Good evening and welcome to another episode of What's So Funny, the show that probes the minds, the brains, and the psyches of the people who make the funny. Tonight, stand-up comic Nate Bargatze drops by the roving What's So Funny studio, conveniently located high atop his 6th floor hotel room. The Nashville native is all Hollywood now, but he pulls back the curtain on his comedic routines in a relaxed conversation recorded a couple weeks ago here in Vancouver. And did you know he used to play in the NBA? Yeah, it's true. So listen, you'll learn lots. Here's Nate Bargatze. Nate, want to do my show?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's good. Great. All right. I like the way you're holding the mic, clutching onto it.
I'm just, I'm nervous about doing this show.
It's a big one.
It is.
Yeah. Do you do many shows, podcasts?
Podcasts? I've done a few.
Just a few?
Share.
Because everyone has a podcast now.
Yeah. Yep. I've done, I've done quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
good. It's funny, it's not even like doing like, with comedy, you used to always do, it was radio,
Yeah, it's like that morning zoo kind of thing.
Yeah. And I've done that, but I've done way more podcasts than radio.
These days, that's the way to go.
Yep.
And you're kind of, you're not a savvy vet yet. You're relatively new.
Yeah.
So that probably explains why. You came about in the midst of the podcast craze. You'll tell your kids about that.
Yes, I was I had one too for a little bit. I don't have it anymore, but we jumped on board like everybody else did. And, but everybody else is outlasted me.
You have one too?
I did have one.
Oh, you did?
I did. It's called It Could Be Better. And it was me, Giannis Pappas, and Chris Laker, two New York comedians. And we did it, and then we just ended up getting too busy, and it was like too tough to try to do it. So
how many episodes did that last?
Man, I don't even know exactly. I mean, it was over 100. Like, it was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we did it. It's still out there. People can listen, but
no more. Now you're just a guest.
It's over. Yeah.
The big one was the Marin podcast, of course.
Yeah.
That you did.
Mm-hmm.
Way too early. You're too young to be doing that show.
Yeah. Yeah. Way too young.
Did you feel like I shouldn't be doing this? No.
Yeah. No, it was. It was unbelievable. Like to get to do it. It's so funny how it works out. Like we just randomly, he saw me at a festival that we did, and it was a contest. It was a ridiculous contest because it was like everybody was unbelievable. Like Chad Daniels ended up winning it. He just did a Marin podcast. And then they had Moshe Kasher was in the contest, Nikki Glazer. I'm forgetting everybody. But everybody was real big. Everybody pretty much had a half hour and everything. So it was a lot of fun. But he was there, and he stayed and watched all my sets. So it's just, you get lucky like here and there when I've had it happen a few times when like bigger comics come into a room. And then, when you're younger and you're like, oh, like I've changed material. If I see like Gaffigans come into a room and then you're like, well, let me do my better stuff. I don't know, whatever we think is better. And like
the stuff that kills.
The stuff that kills, whatever you're doing. Even though that you should be doing that anyway. But
so you should be trying to kill. Well, I guess no. You also want to grow, and sometimes that takes not killing.
Well, sometimes what it is really is like you might have a joke that you would want them to see, but I just wouldn't be doing all the time. So like if I see them, I'll be like, I'll go back and do like that joke. If I see a guy walk in, a big comic.
Yeah, but do you also? Is it hard to stop delivering it as naturally as you do if they're not in the room? Because you realize, oh, here's Red Fox. No, he's dead. But somebody big. When they could, if you get nervous or or trying too hard. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I've never had that. I mean, it might be. Like,
you've never had the problem of trying too hard.
I've had, I actually have had that where I've been just recently. Bill Burr was in the crowd, and when I saw him come in, I was like, you got a little nervous to see him. So it comes out. That's where you rely on just doing it so much that you can just, you can say it, and it's going to come out the way it should come out.
Right. You know what Frank Sinatra used to do when he used to go and see other singers?
What?
He used to sit with his back to them so he wouldn't intimidate them.
Oh, wow.
So that's what these guys should do.
That's what they should do.
But then you'd be going, why is he doesn't like me.
Now he's not looking at me, yeah. Now that's what they should do, all of them. So if they listen to this, turn around.
Enter in backward.
It's lucky to even get, because so many, you don't even watch comedy. We see so much of it, so you rarely go in and watch any show. So it's like such a rare thing for even to happen.
Yeah, and I guess it might happen less and less the more known you are, because then they will have seen you.
Yeah.
But, now it's just buzz. They've heard good things about you, and they see that you're on stage.
And they jump in.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'll be interested to see what happens in L.A.
You just moved to
I
LA?
just moved to L.A.
Like last week?
Yes. So, because you don't run around. Like in New York, you run around and do a bunch of shows a night. So, it's even... At the beginning of when you start in New York, you have to stay and hang out and stuff, like in the same show. But when you move, like I was in New York for 8 years, so towards the end, you just kind of go in and do your spot, and then everybody leaves because they have another spot. So there's not as much as just sitting and watching the show. And I feel like LA is a little more like you watch the show, which will be fun to get to sit and just watch some, as long as you can take, and then.
Because there's not the sheer number of shows around town.
Yeah. It's not
or
as
it's
easy
too spread out, I guess.
Yeah.
So, you just moved to L.A. with your wife and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
They were obviously on board with that.
They were.
Because you're both from the South. Even your daughter. You're all from the South.
All from the South.
And, but you said, L.A. And had your wife been there?
She's been there once before, and... She wanted to move, so she, I think she liked LA. She liked her job, though. That was the only thing that was, tough, was because she did like her job a lot.
What did she do?
She was a corporate event planner.
Oh, yeah.
For all the client events. So she's actually, she got a transfer because they have an office out in LA. So it really worked out for us, and her job has been totally cool. But she did want to move. And we talked about it even before we found out she was pregnant. So we were kind of planning it anyway. And then once we found out she was pregnant, we just had to move it back about a month or two from when we were going to move. But we still stayed true to moving, and now we've moved.
And it's all good.
So far,
3 days that you've been there.
I've only been out one night.
One night, okay.
So as far as I can tell, it's going good.
Yeah.
I'm not famous yet, but almost.
Well, you got the Marin bump, and now this show's going to push you over the top.
This is the one.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah. I saw you here last year. It was great, but you hadn't done the Marin show yet.
Yep.
You weren't as well known as you are now. Did you feel any significant bump from that?
From that? I did. Not crazy. It's not, I did, my CD did really well, and I'm pretty positive that's all because of him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did it with a special thing, and they have their own following too. So that was great with them. And then the Marin podcast came out right when I was about releasing my album. So, and he plugged it on there. So that, it's been huge. What's funny is he accidentally called me Nick Bargatze on a podcast once, and that popped up in my on my website. You can see how many people hit in the Google alert words.
Yeah.
And that was searched Nick. So I told him. He said I didn't even mean. He's like, I should know your name. I didn't mean to call you Nick. And I was like, well, just tell me whichever you've been using. I'll change to that. That would be easier than the other way.
It seems to work.
Yeah. So I did. It was. He was awesome, and he's been so nice to me. The Rolling Stone thing, he mentioned me in there, and that was it was funny because that was I got a lot of friends. A lot of friends hit me up. Even I feel more than when I did Conan. For some reason that because it was Rolling Stone magazine, it felt. I feel like people thought Now they think I'm really. Oh, so you are doing comedy? Yes, I am. I'm attempting it.
This hobby is working out.
Yes, slowly working out.
Well, let's give a plug. Your album's really funny.
Thank you.
It's called Yelled At by a Clown.
Yes, yelled at by a clown.
And there's a very nice picture of you and your clown father.
Yep.
You as a little boy.
Boy.
Looking completely different, but I've figured out that every picture of you looks completely different. In fact, sitting here looking at you right now, you're like this chameleon guy.
It changes. You know what's? I always wonder, like, not that I would ever. This may sound dumb, but like if you ever get recognized, like just out and about. I don't really ever have it happen. I've had it like once. And not that it should, but I would randomly think like it would happen here and there, like maybe a couple times more than it did. But I do think that I wear a hat. I don't wear a hat on stage, but I wear one off stage. And I mean, it happens even after a show. I can go do a show and I put my hat on and I'll stand outside and people just walk. They don't even kind of look at you.
Do you ever eavesdrop on what they think of the show?
Huh? Oh no, I've heard them. I've heard them say it's terrible. No, I've heard them say it's terrible. I've been in the bathroom, like you go and you're like you just go in the bathroom, then you hear people start talking, and you're just like, I want to get out of here before they start just trashing me, and I have to sit here and listen to it. That's my. It's I had another. I did Bonnaroo. I'm not trying to just I feel like I'm just naming stuff I'm doing. I'm not trying to, but
please do. They mean nothing to me, though.
Yeah.
Bonnaroo?
It's a music festival in Nashville. It's a huge thing.
In the South?
Yes. No, it's a huge...
I know. I have heard of it. I wasn't sure exactly where it was.
Yeah,
what
Manchester,
it was,
Tennessee.
But I have heard of it.
Yep. But Tim Minchem, you know him? He was there, and we hung out, and I saw him again in L.A., and when I went to Bonnaroo, I had a beard, and I had glasses, and I was wearing a hat. And then when I met him in L.A., I was like, "Oh, we worked at Bonner together." He was like, "Oh, okay." And then he just kind of walked away from me.
And I was you were a sound guy?
Yeah. Like I was sitting there kind of like, man, we did hang out like quite a bit. I thought he would like recognize me. But then I just remembered when I was there, I had a beard and glasses and hat. Like I had a disguise on. Like a full, like it looked like, and now I was shaved, no glasses. So it looked like I literally had a disguise and now I'm just a different person.
A Joaquin Phoenix type. Yeah. Well, you were telling me the other night that sometimes even other comics, guys that you know, say, "Oh, you're not wearing your hat tonight when you perform."
Yeah. Everybody thinks I wear it on stage, and I never do.
Because you wear it off, and I want to show you something. On the back of your CD, you're standing there with a mic and your hat.
Yeah. You know why?
So I explain that.
I can explain it. I had LASIK, and that picture is 2 days after I've had LASIK, and I had to wear my hat to keep the light out of my eyes so I could even open them. I promise that's why.
Okay, but you could understand why somebody might think that you wear it on stage. I
never even thought about that on my CD.
There's you on stage wearing your hat.
The hat.
The hat that you're wearing right now, a Vanderbilt
hat.
A big V.
That is true.
That is
so
your
I guess
school.
I did lie, but mostly I don't. Here and there, I guess I do wear my hat, but I would say 95% of the time I don't.
Okay, so it's changing.
It's changing. Maybe I'll just...
I'm going to call you on everything you say now.
I know. That's terrific that's on that CD. That if you look at the back of my CD, though, it's had LASIK surgery.
How did that go?
Unreal. It's the greatest thing. I've had glasses since I was 12.
Oh, yeah? And so they do one eye at a time, I know.
I did both.
Really?
You can do one at a time. I was like, let's just do it all.
Because there have been disasters with that.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't hear about that. Like
Kathy Griffin.
Oh, hers was bad?
She's really against it. Yeah,
really?
It was quite bad, I think.
I am completely for it, and it's unreal. It's crazy to even like I'll be on a plane, and I would always take my glasses off on a plane, like to sleep or something. And then I remember like looking out the window. Then I would always put my glasses on, and I'll still sometimes like go to grab them, and then you're like, oh, I can see. It's been great. I'm 2015 now. So
what were you before?
I want to say 2080.
Wow.
So it takes 2 minutes tops.
What?
For them to do it if 2 minutes. Yes, it is that quick.
They just hook lasers up to your eyeballs.
Real quick. Yep.
And your glass is free.
Glass is free. Some people are cool, like immediately. It took me, I couldn't drive like that show. I couldn't drive to it. Still, I didn't drive. I did it Tuesday and I drove on Sunday, so it wasn't too long. But Tuesday and Wednesday were pretty bad. I couldn't even I didn't want to open my eyes or anything. And then Thursday, I did a show and it was still not great, but it was like my eyes just hurt. But then by Friday and Saturday, I was pretty much okay. And Sunday, I drove a car. So,
wow, what a success story.
Yeah. So I'm the opposite of Kathy Griffin.
In more ways than one.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. I interviewed you for the paper a couple weeks ago, and we talked about one thing I really admire about you is that you're your own man.
Yeah.
This didn't get into the story, but... you know, and thinking of Kathy Griffin and, you know, just in the comedy world, there's a lot of polarization of, yeah, you should like this person, you shouldn't like that person. Or if you like that person, you're you're not cool, you're not hip. But, you know, you're just you. You know, I've read that you love Sinbad.
Yep.
Your favorite comedian?
I don't know. He's one of them. I mean, you know what? It's funny. It changes because once you get into comedy, you realize how many good comics there are that you don't even know. So now, I'm a big Bill Burr fan. So
that's cool though.
Yes, it's very cool.
Yeah,
but I love him more than Louis. So that might not be. You know, some people have that argument.
Well,
Louis
you know,
CK or
I
Burr.
love Louis too. And yeah, I don't think you even need to make a choice.
Yeah.
But people say, who do you like better? It's like, well, what difference does it make?
Doesn't
I
matter,
like them both.
Yeah.
But I also like the fact that, and I didn't even hear it, I just heard of it, is that Andy Kindler in Montreal apparently took Louis down a few pegs.
Yeah.
And I just like the fact that somebody will do that, whether whether it's true or not, because it's just opinion anyway. And there does seems to be this, groupthink of, this is the guy. We can't say anything bad about him. He can do no wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just like the fact that when people...
The Andy Kindler thing, I didn't... I read it too, I think, and they are in transcription of it, and it was great. It was awesome to just it was that someone did it, you know, and it's just perfect timing of it and his success because it is like that. Everybody he does, and rightfully so, but he can right now do no wrong.
That's right. And, and in the past, Andy has taken down Jay Leno and Dane Cook and all the easy targets, Carrot Top, whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
But it's sort of like low-hanging fruit. It's like, why? Everyone's on board with that already. But anyway, tell me what you like about Sinbad.
I mean, it was just, I just remember watching his special when I was younger, and I mean, afros and bell bottoms, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And he's just a funny guy. And I mean, a lot of guys that know him, I feel like you talk to older, everybody knows how funny, he's just so funny off the cuff. And I've talked to people that've worked with him, comics will try to act I just do new stuff all the time, or it just comes off the top of my head, which is usually a lie. But I think he's one of the ones that it's not a lie, and I haven't even seen him lately. But from what I've heard, people work anytime someone works with him, they always leave going, no, he's legit, he's a real deal.
Legit and the real deal in that he's funny or that he's constantly doing new stuff, because there is a difference. You could do new stuff all the time and off the cuff and it not work.
Yeah. Now, they supposedly funny and new stuff. I mean, obviously, it's probably a lot of crowd work, so it's, I mean, there's going to be some stuff, even if he does, new stuff, I don't think it's going to be just perfect bits that he's doing every night that's new. I think that's impossible. But, talking to the crowd and just, I don't know, he's just a funny guy.
Yeah, and his personality carries it off.
And he's a good guy.
Is he? Have you met him?
No, but I read his book. Not his book. I read a book. They interviewed a bunch of comics, or something. And he was when he first started, all these bus drivers would give him rides to gigs, and he had no money, so they would just do it. And then when he made some money, he took everyone that ever helped him out, like, to a huge steak dinner, and like paid for it, everything for everybody as like a thank you for all the years of them just letting him get on the bus. So it's like a guy that pays people back, and I've always heard he's just a super nice guy.
And now he's back to taking the bus?
Now he's back to now he's driving the bus.
No, he's still doing okay, I think.
I think he's doing pretty good.
So, what would you do if you met him? Like, have you ever been starstruck? Have you ever met any heroes?
Chappelle used to come in a bunch when I first started, and I was handing out flyers in New York, but it was a club called Boston Comedy Club. And
yeah, that always confused me. Why there'd be a Boston Comedy Club in New York?
It was like because Boston had great comics. I think it was like Barry Katz, supposedly, I think, started it, and so it was that reason. But he, I would say Chappelle, like, seeing him, then you start seeing him a lot, so it's funny how it, like, dies down. Like, it goes to, like, oh, I cannot believe Chappelle's going on, and I'm watching him, and that's, like, 4 or 5 times, and then it gets to, like, he just keeps coming in, and then you get bumped, and you're like, dude, I just want to go up,
And now it's, I can't believe Chappelle's going on again.
Are you kidding me? Can I get on before Chappelle gets here? So,
but did you speak to him?
Yeah, we hung out, like, just at the club. Like, I mean, he wouldn't know me, but we just
because you look different every time.
Because I do look different. Yes.
How would he know you?
Seinfeld's another. Like, when I see him, I would like that. I get pretty starstruck seeing Seinfeld. And I've never met him. And I just recently, before I left, I saw him, and I was on a show, and he came by and went up as well. So I got to see him live at a club in New York. And I've seen him at a theater, but I've never seen him just pop in to a club. And I finally did, like, right before, I left.
And it was better. I always like seeing them in clubs.
Oh, yeah. It makes it's awesome. That's the best thing, to see guys just pop in and go up. It's like, especially if the crowd's not big, you just, because you're seeing these guys that are just these, Seinfeld's crazy famous.
Yeah.
And doing theaters and stuff like that. And just to see them pop in. Like, I mean, I've seen Chappelle go up, and there's been 8 people in the room. So, like, that's a pretty awesome experience to see that, to see how they handled that. It's almost like you get to see, like, probably how they started, because now, usually you just see those guys playing in huge rooms.
To people screaming. Just at their presence.
When Chappelle, it's funny, it's like in New York, when you bring them up, and no one believes you at first. So if you're like, everybody please welcome on stage Dave Chappelle, and then everybody just starts going like, what? And looks around, and then you just it's awesome to see people get it and see him. Or like, when Seinfeld goes on, or Chris Rock, those guys like Chris Rock, and then you see people going, what? Looking around, and then once they realize it, it's just a roar of just people going nuts. And I love watching that, even it's just, I don't know, it's like awesome and inspiring, and you're just like, oh, it'd be unbelievable to get to that point, just to where people are like, I can't believe,
Well, how they all got to that point is, they were great to start out with
this podcast. What did
they didn't do this podcast.
No.
They made their fame before.
Yeah,
I came
before
on
podcast.
Yeah, but is because they all got TV shows.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a big goal of a lot of comics. Is that a goal of yours?
Yeah.
Is that why you moved to LA?
Yes, just to change it up and go, try that side of it. And I want to, like, focus on getting on the road more, because I want to work on the hour. It's a different thing. Like in New York, you're just doing like 15 minutes basically. So, not that I'm great at but I got good at doing 15 minutes. I've just done it so much. And then, so now it's like, to do an hour is a completely different thing. And so it's like trying to make, when you do an hour, like I think even like this weekend has been really good. I felt really good, and I don't feel like I'm holding the audience hostage with my hour.
Oh, so it's a big step for you.
It's a
this
big
weekend?
step. This weekend has actually been a good. And what's funny?
What do you mean?
Uh-huh.
You don't feel like you're holding them hostage. Last year you killed.
It go good, but like it's, I don't know. It's like when you're doing such a long time. There's times where I feel like I get tired of hearing me, and then I'm kind of thinking like, man, they're probably, and it still could be going good, but it's just that feeling to where the time is a little bit slower. Like, I'll notice like the light comes on. I get a 5-minute light, and you're like, feel like it takes longer than it should to get on. Mm-hmm. So it's just making it to where it's a breeze to get through 45 minutes. Like, it's not like a hassle, or like I'm not like, I don't know. It's a weird, I don't think the audience would ever know, but I know. I can tell. So, but this weekend has been just, I felt a lot better. Like, I was thinking about it yesterday. I felt I'm really getting through this stuff. I'm not having to do like every joke I have planned out. I can kind of skip around a little bit and still not do all these jokes, not do everything that's on that CD. So that's fun, This
city's been very good to you, Nate.
It has.
I think maybe that should be your next move. It's Hollywood
Vancouver.
North.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a big
that's
TV
right,
movie industry here.
Yeah.
Or at least a TV and movie industry
That
here.
is. I mean, I get it. I like it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. It's giving you a track on your CD?
Yes.
A story?
A big track, too. Like, a lot of people talk about that.
Oh, do they?
I have a lot of people bring that story up to me, that they love that story.
Yeah, I want to talk about that story a little bit because it took place a couple blocks from here on Davie Street.
Yes.
And, I've spent a lot of time on Davie Street. I grew up.
Yeah.
No, I didn't grow up there, but I lived in the West End for many years. And it's a story where, it's a mistaken, I don't want to give away the whole thing, but you thought maybe you were going to get into a fight, and that wasn't the case.
No.
Now, at the time, you tell it very relaxed, in your relaxed style, sardonic.
Yeah.
Not sure what that means, but...
I was just going with it.
Sounded right. And... Yet at the time, was your heart racing a little bit? Like you going,
yes.
What's this guy doing? Am I,
I can explain the real story. I don't know if it matters.
Please.
I'll tell the whole real, so I walk down there. I go to Davie Street. I'm going to eat. And as I was walking up, I see the guy cross the street, and he was staring at me, like I said.
From what distance?
He's he's pretty close to me. He's crossing the street. Like, it's clear that he's staring at me. Like, it's like he's just looking right at me. And so then when I start walking forward, I tend to always, when I walk past people, I kind of look over my shoulder just to make sure. I don't know why. I do too, yeah. But, you just fear, what if some guy turns.
No, you pretend you're looking across the street.
Yeah. And then just making sure this guy ain't turned around. So I look, and I still notice him standing there. And he's, in the middle of the sidewalk. Like, people are walking on both sides of him.
Describe him.
I want to say he had a mustache and brown hair and, kind of balding on the top and a big jacket because it was February. So this is a cooler.
Okay.
And I had my coat on and stuff. And as I walked up, I did realize I've gone too far. I went up to the KFC that's up there, and that was closed because it was 3 a.m. or something. And so what I say in the joke is I turned around and I walked back towards him. And that's true, but what I did was I crossed the street because I didn't want to walk back towards him, and he crossed the street too. So that's when I was like, this is not good.
He's a psycho or something.
Yeah. I was like, that's what made me nervous, was because he crosses almost since that's crazy.
Now, I'm guessing that he crossed the street because he had his eye on you, but as he was staring at you the first time, did you stare back?
Yeah, I was the whole time walking on the street, I'm looking over my shoulder. So it becomes more and more. I think when you look over your shoulder, you think no one notices it. It's a pretty obvious thing. And when I keep doing it, then it's completely obvious that I'm standing.
So what you're reacting to out of fear is being perceived as an invitation.
On that street, that's an invitation. And I used to say in the joke when I first did it, I would say I crossed the street, then he crossed the street. Because I think that's a big point to say. But it just when you tell the joke, it just jumbles the words too much. So it's I just stop.
Too much information.
It's too much where it's all right, I don't need to, describe everything. But that's what happened. That's when that happened, I was like, I almost didn't even want to walk back down there because that's crazy. But there was a lot of people out. So I just was like, I'm going to just go. So I walked towards him, and then I did say something to him. I said, hey, what's up? And the reason I even said that was because I remember I was with Ben Bailey once, the host of Cash Cab.
Oh, yeah.
He's a comic. I opened for him, and he was telling me because he said he gets a lot of guys that try to fight him because he's so big. And if you're real big, apparently, like guys will want to fight you because they want to prove their toughness. It's like a weird, like not every guy, but other fellow big guys. So he told me if anybody's ever kind of giving you a weird eye, he goes up and like, introduces himself. He's like, "Hey, I'm Ben Bailey," and like just because it's kind of like, oh, like it makes it real, I guess. And then they usually are cool. So I remember that. So I was like, I'll go talk to this guy. And then so when I got close to him, I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And it was enough that he did kind of like shuffle his feet and move over. And I walked by him, and then I was looking over my shoulder to see if he was doing it. And then that's when he started following me.
When you went up and said, "Hey, what's up, man?" Did you walk up and stop and say that, or just as you're walking by?
Kind of walking by, but it was like it was. I mean, I looked at him, kind of stepped into him a little bit, like just, "Hey, what's up, man?" So it was like an obvious, like me and him
and
him knew what. There was no mistake of what was going on. Well, I guess there was a huge mistake,
a huge disconnect.
But yes, but we both knew that we were talking to each other,
right?
And so then
that didn't come out of the blue.
No, and then so he's following me. I turn the corner. I get to the Denny's, and I turn. I take a right, and right when I take a right, I do look at him again, and I see him follow me. I turn the corner where he can't see me. In the joke, I say I run and hide behind a car, because again, it's just easier. But what I really did is I walked forward, and there was some guys walking, and I kind of act like I was walking with them, and then I went into the Denny's.
Mm-hmm.
And
hid behind a menu.
Yes, hid behind. I did. I hid behind a menu, and I saw him turn the corner, and I just that was the scary part too. Is I watched him turn the corner, and then just looking, just kind of doing circles, just trying to find me. He was really blown away.
Wow. That
I was gone, and then I sat at the table at Denny's, and I ate, and then I watched it. I was just kind of watching him through the windows, and he walked there's a bus stop right in front of the Denny's, and he walked right there. If he would have looked at the Denny's, he would have seen me. And I saw him kind of looking everywhere. And then he just walked down the street, and I don't know where he went. And then I ate, and I briskly walked back to the hotel.
You should have just taken off your cap, and he wouldn't have recognized you.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in hearing the truth behind the jokes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it takes anything away from the joke
or
adds to it. I'm interested in it.
Yeah. Well, there's a few of them that I have where it changes, but that one's basically all true. It's I've just taken out some stuff that would I tried to do it that way, but some of it just jumbles. If I cross the street, then he crosses the street. It's I think people it's such a long joke too. And the whole beginning, there's not really a lot of laughs. So I think if I take too long, people just start trailing off. And then when I go try to do the payoff where all the punches are, people are like, "What?" They've quit following.
What kind of reactions have you been getting from this track?
I've just had a bunch of they love the Vancouver story. I had a girl tell me she listened to it 5 times in a row, and I don't know. They just love it. It's a fun, and I had a lot of I was very, very proud of that joke because it was the way it's set up, and I tried it so many different ways, but the way it sets up very slow and there's not a lot of laughs. I almost have to do that joke in the middle or towards the end because I think have some trust that they know I'm funny. If I open with it, it's too long without laughs that they're going to be like, I don't know, this guy's terrible. But if they trust me, then they're willing to go with me, and then it's basically because you kind of just tell the joke, you just say it twice basically.
That's
explain
right.
it.
Yeah, once the reveal is there.
Yeah,
and then it all makes sense,
almost
especially if you're not in Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm almost I explain it to where it's almost here's if I was a bad comic is the beginning, and then here's an okay comic towards the backside.
So other things, I would imagine that most of your premises are based in truth.
Yes.
Or at least observation or something.
All of them.
So, like, I'm going to ask you some of them now.
Okay.
You took a reading class as an adult.
I can't remember his reading. It might have been speech.
Ah.
So I did take. I took. Oh man, I can't even remember what I took. But it was all remedial. I do not have a credit
From a community
from
college.
a community college. I took speech, like 101 speech, like what you took in high school. I can't remember. I honestly, there's part of me thinks I took reading, but I can't. I honestly can't. I can't remember. But I just said reading.
Now, were you a really poor high school student?
Not terrible, but I'm just really bad at like, I don't know. I control off. Like if I meet someone and they say their name, even if I'm trying to remember it, I will immediately not remember it.
Yeah.
And and it's just such a bad thing. It's like, it's very selfish, you know. It's not good.
Well,
I like when people remember my name. You know, Gary Goldman is. I'm not trying to just drop names on this either, but like, these are all just comics in you. But Gary Goldman, unreal at remembering people's names.
Well, he seems like if he weren't in comedy, he'd be in sales or something. Yeah. He's tall, good looking,
Yep.
and he probably he probably has like there's books about how to remember people's names. It's constantly repeat it.
Yeah.
You know, that's right, Nate.
Yeah.
And then it just gets ingrained in their head. But when I hear people saying that to me, and I know that's what they're doing, trying to do it, it just sounds a little phony.
Yeah, it's like trying to, but it feels great when they do.
When they remember you,
like,
out
later,
of context,
and then they go, like, "What's up, guy?" And you're like, "What?"
Yeah,
and you're way on board with that person.
Well, it's easy for me because you can just, and I'm called Guy by people that don't even know me because, hey,
I know,
Guy.
that works out great.
So, what else? You wanted to be a basketball player?
That is true, yes.
And you play? Are you good?
I think I'm okay. I'm not bad. I can hold my own. I'm not a problem out there. Like, I did play in church league. I played for the NBA, which was the Nashville Baptist Association.
So you could say
I could technically say I played in the NBA.
The Baptists are tough.
Yeah.
Competitive.
Yep. It's very not church-like on that court.
One of my best friends, the guy who taught me how to play basketball, is an American guy from the South, lived in Canada, and a Baptist.
Oh, yeah.
Super competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah.
What's your game? What's your outside shot? You got the handle?
Yeah, I can handle. I'll run point a lot, and a little outside shooting from the elbow. That's where it's at. That's where I make my money. Is
at the elbow.
At the elbow, right on the elbow.
Bank 'em in?
No, just elbows, just right. Just you know where it's going. Just boom.
Yeah.
We used to play every day. At our church had a gym, and we played every day. We our church league we played. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I'm still pretty upset about not getting cut from high school. I'm still
about getting cut.
Yeah. That the coach that did it, I truly believe he's just like a jerk of a guy, and there was no reason I should have been cut. I was good enough to make it, and I think he liked cutting me. I think he enjoyed it.
Because
I don't know. I don't know.
You're a likable guy.
Yeah, he didn't like me or something. And we had really good guys. Our team, we had a guy that was a year younger than me that played pro ball in Europe. And I had our starting lineup all went and played college ball. I went to a private school. It was small, but it was everybody was really good athletes that was there. But I was good enough to my junior year. I could have made it just over sophomores or freshmen, and just put me on the team. I wasn't bad. I was good enough to do that, and I think he liked not doing that. It really bugs me.
As you describe it, I'm thinking maybe he made the right choice. Everyone went on to play college ball.
Yeah.
Well, he couldn't ruin that by putting you on the team.
Younger
or do you think if you were on the team, then that would have...
I would have played college ball. Yeah. No, I was good. I'm saying the younger ones. I would have never started.
Right.
But there's a lot of kids that get to play. I could have been on the team. I clearly wouldn't have been, a sore spot on the team.
What a jerk.
Yeah. I mean, it's weirdly still upsets me to this day. I'm still pretty upset.
Yeah. I also sometimes wonder if Baptists stay. What am I trying to say? If they continue going to church
Yeah.
because of things like the basketball league,
competitive, yeah.
right.
Softball
forget
league.
all the religious stuff. They have all the
Just to play.
youth groups and the sports leagues.
Well, the ringers,
picnics.
Some churches, they have like ringers where I feel like they have guys that do not go to that church, or they're just bring in for like softball, especially
just to play.
They have softball. There's softball leagues. Some of them are not even church leagues. Some of them are just softball, but it's like pro guys that used to play pro ball will play, and they have like home run rules. Like if you hit a home run, it's an out. So you can't hit a home run, because they would hit a home run every single time. So like
major leaguers.
Like I've played with a guy. I remember that played for the Cardinals, I think, for just a little bit. So even if it's just a little bit, the guy these guys are just ridiculous. And whatever reason, there's some. I'm a Vanderbilt fan. My brother plays in a few softball league with a wide receiver that played. Wide receiver that played for Vandy. So like some, all these college athletes that will end up playing on some leagues and stuff just because they're very competitive. And these guys are playing softball, even if they didn't play baseball in college, they're still D1 athletes.
Yeah.
So they're just good at everything.
Well, that doesn't mean they don't go to the church.
No, not necessarily. But I don't think I don't think all of them
You're
go.
jealous. You guys couldn't recruit. That was your problem.
We didn't go out there and get them.
Now, do you play in any comics leagues now?
There was an Astoria Basketball Association that we played in a few years, and it is I'm out now because I moved. It's basically, I want to say it's debunked. It's almost done, but it was a lot of fun, and we would play every Wednesday at noon, or we'd say noon. It ended up being 1, and we would just do half court and just go. I mean, it was a blast, and it was just in Queens, and lived it up.
And now you're going to be in L.A.
And I just found out about 2 days some guys play in L.A. So I'm going to try to, I'd like to go play again. As you get busy, though, it's like you get on the road and stuff like that. That's how it all happened. Like, at the beginning, we were all in New York. We could play every Wednesday. But it's funny, too, is like, it's almost like you see everybody kind of moving up. Because, that league, it's all of us, some guys. And then you see us all one by one, or like, I can't really anymore. I'm doing this. I'm on the road. I got blah, blah, blah. And then everybody kind of goes. And there was really no younger group that just took on the, carried it, whatever, the trophy on. And it's something. It's over, basically. It's over.
I was still thinking about the word you said earlier, and my thousands of listeners will just be picking up on it. So I should mention it's defunct, not debunked.
Defunct.
Yeah.
All right.
The league.
Debunked. Yeah. What's debunked? That's like when you debunk something, when you solve something.
Something that isn't true. People think it's true, and you prove that it's isn't.
Wrong.
You debunk it.
All right. Well,
all right, so
that league's not real. So maybe it is debunked. You debunked it, and they go, I don't even play basketball. So you've debunked my whole theory.
You also talk about on stage, and this you talk about being here where we are now, looking out and looking into people's windows. And I was doing this last night. I was playing poker, and we were up on the 17th floor, and I took a stroll out on the balcony, and I saw a little kid doing a dance thing on his video, and I saw somebody else up against the window, and I actually, like you, I was looking to see if there was anything going on there.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be nothing.
It's nothing.
But you say if it's not sex or murder,
it's pretty boring.
Pretty boring, but have you ever seen something in a window?
Have I ever seen... What if I admitted... I have seen a murder. Like, that would be a big,
Just one, though.
Just one murder. It wasn't, a big deal, and I'm sure the cops were called.
Didn't want to get involved.
I don't think I've seen sex. I've heard people having sex.
Or even just standing naked.
I have not. You know, like, you would really need binoculars, like, here. I was on
And
the
then you're
29th
creepy.
floor earlier.
And then
yeah,
you're
then it
creepy.
comes, like, you go to Times Square or Central Park, and you look at all the things, all the buildings. All you see is telescopes in every single window.
Because they're astronomers.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, like, it's just almost like it's an okay thing. Like, if it's your fault if you leave your shades open.
I wonder if they could do that with LASIK. Put like binoculars in your eyes.
Yeah, maybe.
So then you wouldn't look so
maybe
creepy.
That's the next thing. Just to go, if someone's going to go that far to not look creepy, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but it would be cool.
It's great. Like,
I see a figure up there right now, and it's in silhouette. I can't tell.
We're on the 6th floor now. I was on the 29th earlier, and I got switched.
This weekend?
This weekend, because I brought my Xbox with me. And so a dude here that worked here was really cool because I couldn't hook it up on my other TV. So he was like, there's only like a couple rooms that have TVs you can hook it up. And so he switched me.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Changed my whole weekend. My wife was very happy that I could hook my Xbox, because if I don't,
then you're out getting in trouble.
Then I'm go out and get in trouble. So, but I was on the 29th floor, and you can see that way. And there's like 2 apartment buildings. And that's where I was last time, on that side. And you could just see,
You sit in there with your lights off. They can't tell that you're looking at them.
Yeah. You just sit in there. I mean, I could completely, like, I mean, if I lived like here, like in this, like, it would be, I could see it being a problem, like just sitting and like just staring and watching people.
What are you doing tonight, Nate?
Yeah, just
nothing.
Because you could, you could just sit there and just watch all day long. Even though you want to see crazy stuff, but even when they do like nothing, it's still pretty interesting. Like last night, I was excited. Like if you can tell what channel they're watching, I want to turn it on that channel too, just to you feel like
there's a connection.
Yeah.
There was a guy a few years ago. I used to walk over one of the bridges. I forget which one. There's 3 main ones downtown, and the high rises are pretty close. Yeah. And he was about like right on eye level. This happened numerous occasions. He would have his curtains open, and he'd just be lying on the couch, watching TV, completely naked.
Wow.
Yeah. And he knew that people are looking in as he wants
that's
that.
Like he wants it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care. I mean, I guess, like, though, you think, like, even sitting here, you might, do you think anybody can really see in here? I mean, there's no reason they can't.
But like, for some reason, 2 guys are doing a podcast.
Yeah, they might think that.
Oh, let me just give a little identification here. We're talking with Nate Bargatze. How's that pronunciation?
That's great.
Yeah. And the show's What's So Funny on CFRO 100.5 FM and on podcast.
Oh.
Radio and podcast.
This is knocking everything out.
Yep. You don't ever need to do another one now, Nate.
Yep. I'm done.
You are done. What else? What?
I'll just sit in this. If anybody wants you to do radio in the morning, I'm good. I'll send you a clip that I've already done.
Now, this is something you on your CD in your act. You talk about staying out late, getting drunk, and peeing your bed.
Mm-hmm.
It's all true, right?
All
now,
true.
Again, I don't want to come off as preachy, but you go to church. You're Baptist.
Yeah.
This isn't something that I know of Baptists.
No. I think it probably is.
I think you are the ringer on your Baptist team.
I'm the one that
you're the one. You don't go to that church. You just want to play ball.
Baptists are. We just do stuff and just you just don't tell anybody.
Oh, is that it? But you tell people on stage.
But now I tell everybody. It's not like it's we all make mistakes.
Oh, that's right. You ask for forgiveness. You're good.
But that one is all true. It was a night. Went out with a few buddies and came home, and I mean, it's basically that one is laid out pretty good. That one, I think, is almost exactly right. I did wake up and go, "What's wet?" And she pushed me out of the bed, and she was furious.
You have a good wife.
She's been great. She's been supportive, and
because that could be a deal breaker right there.
Easily could have been, and now it's just on TV. We have to tell our parents. We always just say it's jokes.
Yeah, it's just jokes.
I'm like, these are made up jokes. My buddy did that, so
I'm a comedian.
I got to make it myself so it's believable. So they think I'm just like got the worst friends ever.
Yeah. You should stop hanging around with those horrible people.
Horrible, awful people.
That are you.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, she's good. And you've been with her since you were like 21.
Since I was 21. She was at my 21st birthday.
And she's the same age?
She's older. She's 5 years older.
Oh, 5 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. It's not bad.
So you are like her son.
I am. Yeah. She's my mom.
No, a great material that comics use is marriage and kids, right?
Yep.
You're starting to have the kids jokes now.
Yes.
And, a common theme is, like the wife who's constantly making you do things and the arguments that you get in.
Yeah.
So the perception then is that he doesn't have a good marriage. He's just arguing all the time, right? They're constantly at each other's throat. This isn't going to last.
Yeah.
But of course, well, I'm guessing in your case, because you seem like a very sweet guy, that that's the funny parts.
Yeah.
That's what you have
Those
to
are the best
expose.
parts.
Yeah.
That's like, because comedy comes from not a good, it's not like you got jokes about winning the lottery. It just, life's great.
No, you
now.
quit comedy when you win the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. So jokes are, it's obviously going to be, I've had that, where people think that, or like, because we were talking about it last night, just how people are so comfortable talking to comics. Like, I'll have people come up and be like, oh, so you have a baby? Like, how are you going to, you're just going to keep going on the road now that you have a baby and not be there for your baby? Like, it's something that's insane that you're like, if I wasn't I don't know, you're like, you would never say that to someone else. But people, I think when they watch you and they see you say so much personal stuff about your life, they just think it's fine to be like, oh, you're an open book, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. And so they say stuff like that. And, but it's like you say the bad stuff. You say the stuff that you can make fun, the frustrating stuff. That's the stuff that's funny. The other stuff, 90% of the time, I can't talk about because it's going to be, we had a great day today. What do you mean? Like, what's hell funny about that?
She's wonderful.
To be like, we made a dinner, watched a movie. It was a terrific night. I would be booed out of the club.
But you've thought about this too, having a baby and going on the road. Yeah, but it's basically a few days a week and not every single week, right?
No, not every single week. I want to go out a lot, but I was just saying, like, it's like, if someone says that, it's like, look, everybody goes to work Monday through Friday, 8 hours, 9 hours. People work all day.
And the kids are in daycare.
Kids are in daycare. So if I'm going to be there Monday to Wednesday at the least, with my kid, and then I'm gone on, the Thursday through, but when she goes to school, I'm not going to see her when she goes to school. Like, but, it's like you're there at the beginning. So it's all the same, I mean, hours wise, it probably all evens out.
Yeah. And they wouldn't say that to a guy who needs to travel a lot for his business.
No, they won't. Yeah. It's the same thing you could have problems with. It's funny. Like when you, even being married, like, cause I don't know. People don't take comedy as like, it's not a job. So they don't think it's a real job. So, like I always think that if a wife gets mad about me going on the road, and she doesn't. She's very good. But, occasionally, like, I can push it too much where I just want to keep going out. And it's like I do need to not go out like that insane. But, in my head, I'm always thinking that, like, well, what if I was a salesman? Like, you wouldn't say, I'm sure they would probably, but you would think they don't, think of it like that.
Yeah,
but
it's
comedy,
like you're just goofing off.
Yeah, they think it's
going off with your friends.
Yeah, it's like if you can go up and do good on stage, it looks easy. It looks like you're having fun. So it just looks like, oh, you're just going to hang out with your buddies and you're just going to just go have a great time. So they don't think of it as work or like, all the times of just sitting in a hotel room. I mean, in Vancouver, you're at least in a city. But like, how many times you go to some small town where you're in a hotel, no car, and like you got to walk across the interstate to eat. Like, that happens a bunch, and that's the worst.
You always have your Xbox.
That's why I try to bring my Xbox now.
And you've done a few military tours, and you just got back from Greenland, Honduras, El Salvador.
The Bahamas.
The Bahamas, that's tough.
Yeah.
Now, on these, I'm a bit of a coward. And I know that I've heard comics say that they get to go on, not for me, but on these choppers, and the pilots are, doing crazy stunts in the air. Like, isn't that wonderful? No, I wouldn't go on another one.
Not be on board.
Yeah.
Well, they told us when I did it, there's 2 helicopters because they have to fly with 2, and one will go crazy and one will not. That's what now I'm not saying that every time and everybody goes.
Why?
But the time I went,
one need to go crazy.
They kind of have to because I think they got to you can't both be just riding at a slow steady pace because of people trying to shoot rocket launchers at you or something.
There you go. I wouldn't even be in there if there's a possibility that people.
If you've made it that far to Iraq,
then, so you've been to Iraq.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you've made it that far, then you've already kind of committed that you're on board with this, and you're comfortable getting rocket launchers shot at you.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable. Yeah, it's
a hobby of mine. What's the worst experience you've had on one of these military tours?
The scariest was the first couple times I went to Iraq, I didn't get a ride in a Black Hawk because there was sandstorms the whole time. So I was like, I wanted to, that was the main thing about going is you get ride in Black Hawks. You're like, oh, that's unbelievable. But we didn't get a ride in them. So we had to take a convoy. And so we took a convoy and we were in Camp Liberty or Camp Victory, the big base, like Saddam's palace in Baghdad, like the big one. And we left the green zone and took a convoy through the streets of Baghdad. So just like we were just in Baghdad. And that's the only time I ever was pretty nervous because you hear the soldiers because they got to look for IEDs and they're pointing out everything. They're like, there's a cinder block over to the right, watch out for that. There's a bag over here to the left, look out for that. And you just hear them looking at everything, and anything could be an IED. And then we actually took a wrong turn and went down some back road, and then they were like, this isn't right, and we got kind of stuck. And we had to back up, but it just felt like one of those oh man, if there was a time for someone to come shoot a rocket launcher, this is a pretty good time because we're just just out in the field stuck, and luckily nothing happened. But that was the only time I think I felt really, really nervous, just because you were in the streets, you were just it was an unbelievable experience to see that.
And you do it again.
Yeah, I would do it. I'm trying to go to Afghanistan. That's where I've never been. And I am trying my hardest.
Do you take pictures?
I do. I have some pictures on, I believe, on my website and a ton on Facebook that are over there. And I have just a bunch. You take so many, but after a while, they all just start looking the same thing.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine doing it, but I guess it's good that you do it.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome time. And, it's great to go see this. Just when we went to Greenland, I would have never went to Greenland.
All ice.
All ice, yeah. And it was you're at the top of the world. You're just as far as you can go.
Well, the world is a globe.
Well, they call it the top of the world. It's the very top.
Yeah.
If there's a top, it
there
could
isn't.
be. Well, we make it a top.
Yeah.
We call it the North Pole. So
North Pole is in Canada. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Greenland. Santa Claus.
But I mean,
Canada.
But if
he's Canadian.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe.
Is he not?
He's a resident.
He does live here.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was like fantastic. Greenland.
Greenland was great.
Like, but
Honduras.
what do you do? So here you're in a town, and in Vancouver you're in a city, or you could be in a small town having to cross the interstate to eat. But
Yep.
what do? You're just
You
in
have
your
to
barracks?
cross Greenland's interstate. Okay.
Cross
You
an
just
iceberg?
you just they have like their little barracks stuff. They can drink there. In Iraq you can't drink. So in Iraq you end up just kind of, you end up just taking a lot of tours of the bases, and you just meet some soldiers, and you have downtime. They have TVs in the room and stuff, so you can here and there you can lay down and watch TV. Some days are crazy where you're just going all over all day, and then we have some days like we would go to Kuwait and you'd have like some off days in Kuwait, and those can be pretty just kind of boring, like just because there's not a lot to do, and you're just in like. You're in like just a room, like a big shared bathroom, and for like the floor, it's like college. You're like in a dorm room. So
You'll do any gig?
I've done almost, basically.
Like today, you did a corporate.
Oh yeah, you know what? It was yesterday. I must tell you that.
Oh, okay, yesterday.
Yep,
See,
I did it
again,
yesterday.
full of lies
Full of lies.
or half truths.
I thought it was today, and I didn't know that until the guy emailed me at 1 a.m, or like 11 o'clock Friday.
Yeah.
And then I
But
was like,
but it was a corporate here in Vancouver.
Vancouver Yacht Club.
And so you didn't look like the slob that you've been looking like at the Comedy
Yep.
Mix.
I cleaned it up last night too.
Yeah?
Yep.
You shaved?
I shaved.
Put on a
And,
jacket maybe?
No.
No.
I just wore jeans and had a button down collared shirt. Still like I'm not in a suit, but
Yeah. And it was good. You said it was good, right?
it was terrific. I had a lot of fun, and they were very nice and very cool, and everybody's loaded, just like rich at these yacht clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up like talking to some guy that owns like a couple coal mines, and weirdly in Tennessee.
Really?
And, yep. And but the guy's like just loaded, like he's lost like $7 million on a deal or something. Like I don't know. It's always funny to talk to someone that is like just a multi-million, that just has so much money. It's just a weird thing to talk to someone like that.
Yeah. And now this came about just while you're up here, didn't it?
The gig?
Yeah.
It was no.
Like,
they asked
did
a
you
while
have
ago.
time to prepare any special material for them?
No,
you
I
just
came up
did
with some
your
stuff when I got there. Just like I saw the room, and I made up a couple things, not too much, and then I just kind of did my act. Like they try to tell you, like they were very cool, but a lot of them they try to tell you, they're like, oh, so if you want to make fun of people, here's this guy, and then this guy does this, like it's going to be all about them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, look, that's not how it's going to work. Like I'm not good at just like doing like a roast of a room, I'll do my act, and then if I go into it, I'll go. But it's got to kind of naturally happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't force it. I was never a good. So what do you do for a living? And then I just go off on that. I just never really did that.
But are you one of these guys who will always put down a corporate gig? Like I know comics hate them. They're soul crushing, soul destroying.
I don't think because of the soul crushing. I just don't like them because of the setup is not good. I don't like it from
you
a
never
pure.
know what the setup is going
That's
to be.
pure. That I have no like. There's no like, oh, it's not the artistic value.
Or
whatever.
You can't say
What does
this.
it
You
matter?
can't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't say anything either, so I don't ever get. It doesn't
That's
really
true.
bother.
You work clean.
It doesn't bother me.
But I always wonder with these comics that complain about it. I say, don't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they pay so much.
They pay so much, but then what are you? Just a prostitute.
What is what?
And then they're just a prostitute.
Yeah. Well, that's like.
That's life.
You got to
though.
work. Yeah,
That's right.
That's like you got to work.
Not
like,
everybody loves their job.
Yeah, I think when people say that too, it's like just they want you to know, like I don't want to do this. Like I've done cruises, and where I'm like I don't really do cruises now. You don't, and I haven't done a ton of them, but I'm not saying that it's ever going to not happen again. Like I haven't wrote it off. I don't want to do them, and I just don't want to do them. It's just about being away, and that's like cruises are like tough because you're just trapped in like there's no one really to hang out with. You can't really go like hang out with everybody there, like it's a lot of families and stuff like that. I mean, I guess if you were single, it'd be one thing, but even then, you're not. If you get caught like being with a girl there, I think that can be real bad news. you get in trouble for that. But
Even if you're single.
even if you're single,
Same for you,
yeah.
yes.
No, yeah, I would get in trouble by the crews and some other people. But the cruise ships, because if it's like a whole if you go in the girl's room and then she says you raped her, it's a whole thing.
Right.
So they really look down on it. But it's it's just kind of boring. The shows are not even that bad. They're and the ones I did in Carnival were all people from Texas. So it's almost like just playing a comedy club in Texas. Everybody's from Texas, everybody's American, everybody's whatever. It's no different than if you're at some club.
Yeah.
It's
like a rolling comedy club in Texas.
Yep. It's just the boredom of it is the
yeah.
But
I think maybe you're right that some of these comics complain about corporate gigs or whatever because in a way it's kind of like the humble brag. It's kind of like saying I'm good enough to do corporate gigs.
Yeah. I don't want to do them.
And I hate them.
Yeah. It's just you don't. Yeah, it's just being I'm not like a corporate. I know a guy that I talked to recently that switched and just does corporates and has a whole corporate act now that he does, and I respect that because he's a guy that was look, I knew this, I wasn't going to make it as just a big star comic and stuff, but he was he was doing some corporate stuff and got good at that, so he's I just shifted my act and he does kind of a speech / jokes and stuff and just does an hour-long thing. Dude makes a ton of money and I think he's fine with it. And he just said, and I like that. Just admitted it just to be yeah, I just do this now.
He's a working
we can't all
comic, doing what he has to do.
Yeah, exactly. You can't all be just huge stars, and majority of us it's not going to work out for. No one knows if it is or how long it's going to take, how long you're willing to wait it out. So it's all a gamble. So, he just realized oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And now the dude will have a ton of money put away later in life. And he's doing great.
How long are you willing to wait it out?
I mean, I'll probably wait it out forever. I don't, you just, wow. I'm almost at 10 years now. So, it's gone good. I've gone up. I think I've done everything. I never had any quick side steps that were I got pushed to the side of the line and moved up. I've done a lot of spots. I've done a lot of shows. I've gone up every night. I've consistently got little TV stuff here and there. I've never made crazy money. I'm now making money to where it's the government doesn't consider it a hobby. I was close to that even happening. So I'm gonna just keep doing it, and then hopefully just keep building the fan base.
Yeah, and then move into acting too.
Yeah,
do you take lessons?
I have not, but I'm about to.
Are you a natural? Are you good?
No,
have you ever
probably
acted?
No, I've done just sketches. So I've done acting sketches, but I've never acted on something crazy.
Your range?
No, I don't think I have any range. No. I think I'll be just myself. I have to be myself. I don't think I can do something else. I'm not going to be some character actor like Jamie Foxx, just doing everything.
Right.
I'm going to be just me.
It's more of a Clint Eastwood type.
Yeah. That's pretty. If I can do that, that would be pretty great.
All right, Nate. Thanks a lot for talking.
No, thanks for having me.
And come back soon.
I hope so.
Be even bigger.
Yeah.
And remember my name.
I will.
All right.
All right.
Thanks. Nate Bargatze. What a guy. Good guy, that Nate. And he comes here about once a year. Comes to Vancouver, that is. If you get a chance, go see him in a club. Very funny. And also pick up his album. Yelled at by a clown. Hilarious. All right. Next Sunday night, we will be back. I will be back. No guest, though. Because, it'll be December 23rd. Who wants to come do a radio show on December 23rd? So I'll be playing some Christmas comedy clips for the hour. All right. So talk to you then.